just give everyone a minute or two to get settled before we kick off.
Yes. Hi everyone, welcome to the Bookkeeper Boost Week. Hope you had a nice weekend.
It's always nice when people start putting things in the chat box.
Chat.
So you know everyone can hear us and see us. And
exactly,
stuff, so
exactly.
you see the numbers starting to rise. It's always a relief. Tech has worked.
That's amazing. So we will give 2 or 3 minutes for the people to attend, because we don't want to miss anyone. Once the numbers are settled, we will kick off with the webinar, the first one on the Bookkeeper Boost Week. Woohoo!
I don't think I've ever done or been on a webinar that Claire Kendall wasn't on or presenting on.
That's a
Hi, Claire.
funny.
You'll get some sort of like alumni badge at some point for like most webinars attended ever in the history of FreeAgent.
Funny, you are the image of FreeAgent, so you've been great in that amazing video. You and Jem, our stars. I love the video, and I'm sure that everyone who's seen the video will have the same opinion.
It's quite amazing how like when you're recording it, I kind of like I'm at like I thought it was at like this kind of level of energy volume, and then when you watch it back, you're like it just seems so sort of like kind of not how you thought you were putting yourself across. So bit of work to do for me on translating what I think is going on in my head into what's actually coming out of my mouth. So
what it came out was perfect. So yeah, you've been great.
You'll always be critical of yourself, right, more than anyone else. But
Absolutely.
Cool. Should we get cracking then? I think the numbers have about stabilized. If you could do me the honors of flicking onto the next slide, that would be great.
Yes,
Alina,
of course. So today we have
intro.
Tony, the star of the video. So he will do an intro to the Bookkeeper Boost Week for us. Oops.
Just click once and then
Yes,
it'll,
perfect.
yeah, there we go. Brilliant. Good morning, folks. I'm sure you're all delighted and excited to be here on Monday morning for Bookkeeper Boost Week. So my name's Tony. I'm sure a few of you have seen my face before. Senior Digital Enablement Manager here at FreeAgent, and I'm just here to kick off Bookkeeper Boost Week for the first 2 or 3 minutes before I hand over to Alina to take you through the first session. So just going to kind of run through what we've got coming this week. We love this week. It's one of our absolute favourites. The community and the engagement and the excitement that goes along with it every year is, you know, it always gets better, and it's always a joy to be a part of. So Alina's going to kick us off this morning with boosting immunity to the cost of living crisis. She's got an all-star panel on the webinar as well, who will be helping to give you advice and tips and tricks on that kind of side of things. The next 2 days, so I'm presenting tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Squeeze the most out of your practice processes. So myself and Linda Owen and Christine Applin are going to be taking us through like kind of how we look at processes, how we improve them, a few tips and tricks and ideas around that stuff. Wednesday, we're preparing your practice to flourish. So myself, Penny Allard, and Mark Farrington from Spiral Bookkeeping will be taking us through that session to discover kind of growth and the importance of branding and all that kind of stuff. That should be a really good one. Thursday, we've got the key ingredients for a healthy onboarding process, which is my esteemed colleague, Rob Gardner, and Joe from the Six Figure Bookkeeper. And then Jem Soph Malik will be taking us through the panel on Friday. So the fruitful future of bookkeeping, which I know she's very excited about. We've got Six Figure Bookkeeper, I think it's Joe. And then we've got Amy Copeland, and we've also got one more panelist on there whose name has escaped me. So I apologise for that. But yeah, brilliant panel. Really looking forward to it. Can't wait. We're running a couple of competitions on social this week. We're running a competition on social, so it's live now. If you want to, I think someone's going to drop the link in the chat box. If you want to go comment on that post, we're giving away £100 spa break vouchers and 5 of them. So we're going to go comment on the post, tell us of your top takeaways from the session, and then there'll be some other bits and pieces for the rest of the week on social. So keep your eyes out, keep your eyes peeled. Share away, and if you want to go and register for any more of the sessions, hold your camera phone up to that QR code and that will take you through to freeagent.com/boost, which will take you through to the page and you can register for any of the other sessions. So hopefully that's given you a good overview. It'll be a brilliant week, I'm sure it always is, and I will now hand over to Alina to take you through the session. So thanks everyone.
Thanks a lot, Tony, for the amazing intro. See you later. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Boosting Immunity to the Cost of Living Crisis webinar here at FreeAgent. As Tony has mentioned, today we have an amazing panelists. We have Sharon Critchlow, Leah Crowfoot, Suzannah, Whelan, and Elizabeth Leyton with us. So I will introduce them in a bit. So I am Alina. I am an account manager here at FreeAgent. So for those of you that don't know what FreeAgent is, FreeAgent is an accounting software. It's user-friendly, and actually we won the Look Awards in November for the friendliest software of the year, which I'm really proud of. And we are based in Edinburgh. We are made for your small and micro clients. We are targeting that end of the market. And we have an amazing support team, always in hand to help you, based in Edinburgh at our head office. So today's panelists are Sharon Critchlow at the Discover Your Bounds. So Sharon, please say hi.
Hello there.
Hello, hello. So second, we have Leah Crowfoot. She's a business and finance strategy coach. Leah, please. Say hi.
Hi, everybody.
Hiya. So we have also our lovely bookkeeper partners, Suzannah Whelan at Sinclair Whelan Bookkeeping with us.
Hello.
Hi, Suzannah. And we also have Elizabeth Leyton from EML Bookkeeping Services.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, Elizabeth.
Hi.
So what I will do next, I will quickly run through to a very short agenda. So to start off this webinar, we will have Sharon, who will take us through some practical tips for taking care of yourself and supporting your clients. Then we've got Leah, who will take us through the money saving tips to ease the pressure on budgets. And then myself with Suzannah and Elizabeth, we have a panel discussion. So they will be sharing tips on how to build a more resilient practice. And after that, for the new attendees that they are quite fresh to FreeAgent, and I will deliver a demo, so just to show what FreeAgent is. So I will start off with a bit of housekeeping. So for those of you who need to shoot off earlier for client meetings and so on, don't worry, today's session will be recorded and the recording will be sent to you next week on the 13th. So it's a Tuesday. Today's session also, it's worth 1 CPD point. So with the recording email, you will have the CPD point link as well next week. So as we've mentioned previously, please, if you have any specific questions, please use the Q&A box. So you can find the Q&A box at the bottom of the screen. So please feel free to use that, because if there are any questions that my lovely colleagues Stuart and Cinnamon can't answer, then we will be able to follow up with them. So as I mentioned, Cinnamon and Stuart, they are with us today. So hi, guys.
Hi there.
Hello.
Hiya, good morning, everyone.
Good morning. So in terms of chat, we have also a chat box. I'm sure that I can see that some of you already say hi there. So please keep that for like the chit chat, and please keep it polite and respectful, because we had cases in the past when the chat box went a bit mad. So yeah, we are all here to learn from each other. So please let's be respectful with each other. During the webinar, we do have some polls. They will be run by Georgia. So if there are new people that would like to try and partner with us, if they want to find out a bit more of FreeAgent, that's the idea of those polls. And we have as well at the end a demo that I will deliver myself. So that's pretty much on the housekeeping. So as I've mentioned the polls, so as I've done a quick intro of what FreeAgent is, obviously that's not enough. So if you want to find out more about FreeAgent, please feel free to fill in the poll. Thank you. It's always nice to see that to see a mixture of existing partners and also new people that are interested in finding a bit more about FreeAgent. So that's the numbers are quite stable, Georgia, now. So we can maybe, yeah, perfect. So thanks a lot, Georgia, for running the poll. Okay, so next, as I said, we will give the scene to Sharon, who will take us through some stress management strategies. So Sharon, the floor is yours. I will run the slides for you. So please let me know when you want to change them.
That's absolutely amazing. Thank you. And welcome everybody. It's a real pleasure to be here today. Now, we all know that things get really busy, we can get really stressed. It can take up, even just thinking about how stressed we are can take up time. And so then when you think, how am I going to manage this? You think, I don't have time to manage it. So what this session is 5-minute stress management strategies. So these are things that take 5 minutes or less, but over the course of a day, a week, a month, a year, will really make a difference to how you manage stress. So if we move on to the first slide, let's have a look at what impact stress actually has on you. Did you know that when you're under pressure, 8 in 10 people struggle to concentrate? So when they've got a lot on their mind, 8 in 10 people struggle to concentrate. And if you are self-employed or you have a team, that means that we do things which are technical, don't they? They've got to be accurate. They've got to be right. And that makes it really difficult. 6 in 10 people take longer to do the job. And when you've quoted a fixed price, they're paying you monthly or whatever, you want to be as efficient as possible. So actually taking a bit of time to try and deal with the impact of stress will make quite a big difference to your business. Now, the red box here says 88%. What is that? Well, stress levels are high and we're risking workforce burnout across the accounting and bookkeeping sector. 88% of people want a better work-life balance and 71% want more help from their organisations to manage their mental health if they're part of an organisation. And that came from the ACCA Global Talent Trends report that came out this year. So stress levels are high. The impact on your ability to do your job and do it well can be quite high too. So let's move on to what we can do about it. So next slide. So well-being is about getting the balance right for you. As a coach, I quite often see people say, well, you know, I go to the gym 3 times a week and I do this and this, but I'm still not very happy. And I would argue that actually happiness is part of well-being as well. It's not just about the drudge. It's not just about I'm sticking to 2,000 calories and I'm going out for a walk 5 times a day. You know, this is all about having balance. So when we had a look at what really makes people happy and perform well, we found that yes, mind, but we'll go into each of these areas. Mind is important. Your mindset is important. Your body, how you treat yourself. Yes, that's important. But the 2 things that people don't normally equate with well-being is spirit, which is about connection and connectivity with the outside world, and vision. So whose life is it anyway? Are you living your life? Are you living somebody else's life? Are you just running around after everybody else's needs without a clear direction for yours? So we've got some 5-minute techniques in all of these areas. So let's move on to the next one. So how do you calm your mind? You know, the easiest way, if you think, I've got all this to do, I've got all this to do, is to breathe. Just take a minute and breathe. Just take a breath in and slowly exhale. Now, we breathe all the time, but even just taking a couple of seconds to breathe more thoroughly, you'll get more oxygen into your lungs, which will then feed your brain with more oxygen, which makes it a lot easier for you to concentrate. Now, I've got some other things on here that as well, if you have time to do stuff and you're thinking, well, I want to do something to just clear my brain down because I've got busy brain, it's affecting my sleep and whatever. Mindful colouring in. I've put that on here. You could also try crocheting. You could also try painting. Try anything that is a physical action or a physical creative action that's not just a reading or a looking at a screen action. So consider what you do in your downtime, and rather than doom scroll on Facebook, have a think about, could you make something? Could you cook something? What could you do that involves your hands or involves more of your body? Mindful eating. How often have you been half answering an email while shoveling a sandwich down your throat? Take some time to really think about it. Take that 5 minutes it takes to eat a sandwich and enjoy it, because not only will you not shuffle it down and give yourself indigestion, but actually what you'll get is a better impact because you'll eat more slowly, you'll get less of those gastric problems, and you'll also probably eat a bit less. So if you are shoveling just to keep yourself going, just take that time, be mindful, think about what it tastes of, what and what you like about it. Meditation's another one. So you can download apps. There's lots of things on YouTube. Just give it a bit of a go. Just give it a bit of a go. It doesn't have to be absolutely silent. In fact, there's lots of talking meditations where they actually just talk you through the whole process. And that can be really good, if you have difficulty switching off. And finally, watch your hands. So here's an exercise you can do. I do this often before meetings, is I take some time to breathe and to clear my head of everything else. And just for 2 minutes, I look at my hands. Now you can move your hands, but just concentrate about looking at your hands. What do they look like? How does it feel? And if you get a thought about anything else, put your hands down, lift them up and start again. And it's quite a good mindfulness technique just to get you in the zone. If you've got a difficult meeting, or in fact, in between any meeting, why not give it a go? So the other one, I'm just going to go back and do a very quick breathing technique, which is a calming you down one, which is to breathe in for 4, to hold for 4, breathe out for 4, and hold empty for 4. It's called square breathing because you're breathing in, holding, breathing out, and holding empty. And what that'll do is that will start to calm your mind down. So let's move on to your body. Next slide. Cherish your body. How often do you actually think about the body that you're in rather than dragging it around? The most important thing you can do for your body is to look at sleep. I mean, particularly when you don't have much time, really have a think about getting good quality sleep. So think about how comfortable is your bed? How dark is your room, particularly this time of year? Are you being woken up at 5 o'clock where if you had blackout curtains, you might get another couple of hours sleep? Think about the quality of your sleep. There's lots of sleep apps as well that you can get that actually record you snoring and all the rest of it and tell you the quality of your sleep. But really think about, are you going to bed consistently every night? Is it always 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, whatever it is? Be consistent. And think about your wind down routine. If you want to put a baby to sleep, you don't fill it full of sugar and then put it in its cot, do you? You give it a bath, you tell it a story, you really unwind it. So think about how you unwind when you go to sleep. Quick cardio is another thing. So you think, I don't have time to go to the gym. If you've got stairs, run up and down them a couple of times. Do 5-10 minutes of just whizzing around doing something, and it all adds up. Stretching. Are you sitting like this, hunched up, doing all the typing things? Then think about every so often, put a note on your phone that comes up, a reminder to stand up, give yourself a stretch. Because what it'll do is, particularly now, tension headaches are quite common in our sector. So think about this, massage this part of your neck. Think about whether you're holding tension there, and really give yourself a bit of a stretch. And do it frequently, because it will stop you from getting those bad back problems that we can get where we're just achy. And water, just covering up the advertising. Do you have one of these on your desk? Particularly this time of year, are you drinking the whole of one of these in the morning and then bringing it back for another one of these in the afternoon? If it's there, you'll drink it. If it's not there, you won't, particularly when you're knee deep in what you're doing. And then finally, scan and relax. So when you're lying in bed at night, particularly if you're having difficulty sleeping, think about your toes and your legs and your knees and your thighs and your stomach. Where are you holding tension? Where are you holding tension now? And can you relax that? Is it here? This is quite a common one. Is it here at the back of your neck? Think about doing a body scan and just scan through and go, where am I holding tension? And consciously relax it. So let's move on. This is one of my favorite bits because, as I say, it's something that people don't think about, is how important we are to each other. So lifting your spirits, about find your creativity and your connection. Who are your tribe? You're sitting with your tribe now. There's nearly 120 of us here. You're sitting with your tribe. Think about all the other communities that you belong to. Do you spend time there when you could? So is it, for example, I do shanty singing. So I get together with my tribe at least twice a week to sing. But who are your tribe? Who are the people? Is it the mums where you go and pick up your children from school? Do you spend time with them outside when you could? Where do you laugh? What gives you joy? Are you keeping in touch with old friends, people that you don't need to justify when you're feeling a bit down? They just know and they're just there for you. So have a think about where you're expressing your creativity. The problem with the modern world is that we've got information chucked at us from everywhere. It's just information overload. But where's your information coming out? What are you doing to get things out? Are you reading? Are you painting? What are you creating? Where's your output? Because we have way too much input in our lives. So have a think about where you're going to have a laugh this week. What are you going to do for you this week? What are you going to say no to so that you've got space in your diary so that you can actually do some of these things that give you joy? Because that joy will make it hugely more important than you could ever imagine when it comes to personal success. Because we're required to be a bit creative, aren't we? To actually think around things, to give support to other people. And the old adage, you cannot give from an empty cup. So who could you keep in touch with this week? Who could you send a text to? What date could you get in the diary for a coffee with a friend? So that's the spirit. Let's move on again. Have your vision. Now, here we've got 3 rocks. What's the 3 things this week that you are definitely going to do? Because life gets carried away with itself. And if you don't prioritize what it is you want, how are you going to know what to say no to and what to say yes to? So create your vision board. You can do it online. You can do it on a piece of card, whatever. What is it you want? Draw it out, write it down, make it a thing, and make it where you say yes to things and no to things. Because is it taking you towards your goal or away from it? And put fun on your to-do list, because it's really important that you have fun in your life, that you actually have that release. So your 3 rocks, what's your 3 most important things that you are going to be doing this week? And try and stick to those so that you don't just end up getting to Wednesday and think, what have I achieved this week? So that's it. Those are my top tips. She's just whizzing through it because I know there's lots more things that we want to talk about today. So
That was amazing, Sharon. Thank you very much. I already feel relaxed, so thank you for putting my mind at ease. And I did love the bit with put fun on your to-do list, and also like painting and doing things that probably they are not on within your comfort zone. Actually, I was over the weekend in Highlands and we've done a pottery class. That was amazing. It was the first time when I ever done it. Was for 2 hours, and I love it, and I want to do it again, because I don't know, I was in the zone while painting, and yeah, it feels extraordinary. It's getting very difficult nowadays to switch off, but if you have the time in a day to switch off even for like few minutes, just please do it, because bookkeepers usually it's kind of a lonely job, I will say. So please follow Sharon's advice, please reach out to your peers, discuss, and yeah, get on with it and learn to say no when needed. So if you want to find out more about Sharon's, please, feel free to email her, call her. The link to the website will be also in the chat box. And thanks a lot, Sharon. So next, it's Leah, and Leah, the floor is yours. So please take us through the money mindset mastery.
Hi, everybody. I hope you are well. Hold on, I've just lost my screen. Right, there we are. So I just wanted to introduce myself first for those of you who don't know me. So I am a money mindset and business coach. And prior to becoming a coach, I was actually an ACCA accountant. So I had a 14-year career in corporate management accountancy, and I moved into coaching only just over 12 months ago, after going down the journey of being a bookkeeper and a tax compliance accountant and not actually liking it very much, because I'm a management accountant rather than a bookkeeper. But what I did find while I was on that journey, and being surrounded by lots of bookkeepers and accountants, that there are a lot of money mindset issues. And in general, being an entrepreneur, we have lots of up and downs, and it takes a lot of inner strength to overcome these ups and downs, which lead to peaks and troughs in our income. And when we're going through cost of living crises like we are right now, we need to have skills in our back pocket to be able to deal with them. So next slide, please, Alina. So every session I run, I always like to start it with gratitude. So I'd like to invite everybody who's watching to put 5 things in the chat that they're grateful for right here, right now, today. And I know one of my clients, Joanne, is watching, so I hope for her to be one of the first ones to throw them into the chat box. Life, health, home, family, friends, and faith. Love that. Cake. I like that one, Jodie. I love it. There's a lot of family going on in the chat box. I love that. We are alive, Laura. You are correct. Awesome. Awesome. Keep those coming in. Next slide, please. So one of the things I do in my practice is talk about your money story. What do I mean by this? Essentially, from the moment that we are conceived by our mother, our money story is being written for us. And these are the words and the actions that people take and the emotions that people feel that are attached to money, which is perfectly normal. It's nothing to be ashamed of. However, how many of us actually openly talk about our relationship with money? I'll give you a very shortened version of my story. Growing up, there was me and my two sisters, and my mum and dad had an on-off relationship. But I was growing up surrounded by love, which I'm forever grateful for. However, following my dad losing his job, and the first time that my parents split, we ended up having to sell our family home and move into a council house. At that point in time, and that happened, it never really bothered me because as a child, I didn't understand what money was and how it all worked and all that sort of stuff. And it only really started to become an issue for me as I was growing up. And I noticed that my friends had more. They had more toys, they had more pocket money, they had more freedom. And I started down that route of comparison. Joanne's finally put in the box. So I started down that route of comparison, which actually led me to starting to steal some money from my parents. I was probably about 10 or 11 years old. I thought I was being sly, but I wasn't. I was actually, my parents pulled me up on it and we had a conversation, and that's where all of this comparison started to come out. However, as I went through secondary school and into training for my accountancy exams, this comparison got worse because it was even more highlighted to me about how much more I felt that other people had in terms of the value, like actual amounts of money, because there's this perception in the world that as accountants and bookkeepers that you are rich. Well, that's what I thought anyway, that you should be rich. You go down the route of being an accountant and therefore you are going to have a lot of money. Well, that's not specifically true. And I know that's not true because I didn't. And I've had plenty of conversations in the six-figure bookkeeper success lounge where there's people that that hasn't been true. It may be true now, but it was never always true. So my question to you is, you don't need to share this, but it's something I want you to think about. Do you know your money story? Do you know where it came from? Do you know where it began? And if you look back over your life, does that now help you understand where your behaviour right now with money came from? It's just something to bear in mind. Next slide, please. So why is knowing your money story so important? Simply because our money story replays itself throughout our life and ultimately in our business. It may not be the same, but it always comes out the same way in the end. And if you feel unworthy of income, like I did, you will start repelling it. And if you don't see some money as something important, you will also start repelling it. If there are attachments to money in an unhealthy way, i.e. seeing the amount in your bank account validating your worth, or that even our success is based upon the amount of money in our bank account, then everything we do, feel and think in life will be determined by the amount of money in our bank account. So if the money's low, we're going to have these low grade emotions, and we're not going to have the drive to actually get ourselves out of this negative emotional state. But on the flip side, if you have a high bank balance and you are really kind of detached from it completely, you run the risk of your ego running the show, and it causes problems on both sides of the coin. So whether you've got a low bank balance or a high bank balance, but you're not connected to the money at all, you just have this repelling notion going on, and it all just starts repelling everything that you're trying to achieve in life. So next slide, please. So another way to explain this is our money story was created by everything that we've seen, heard and experienced in our life. And based upon this money story, things occur in our life and then we take action based upon the money story that we have. So this is our belief on money. And what happens is that taking those actions in our life based upon this belief actually end up making us confirm it to ourselves, the belief that we had around money in the first place. And it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, an endless cycle of action confirming the belief that we have. And the only other way that we can stop that is to change something. Next slide, please. So what can we do? As I've already said, take some time to write out your money story and see if you can find where your money story began and where you have been sabotaging yourself in your life and in your business. Number 2, you can decide what you want your money story to be and write this down every day and embody this new story. Make conscious actions each and every day to live this new money story, and you'll be surprised on how transformational that it can be. And lastly, I want you to think of money as energy. So we're all currently vibrating on a certain level of frequency. Your task in life is to match this frequency with who you are, how you act, and how you feel every single day. By matching your vibrational frequency of money, you will attract it to you. If you were mismatched, it will either go past you or you completely repel it. And we all know in this room, because we're all bookkeepers, that being close to your numbers, let me start again. We all know that being close to your numbers is important, but being so close to your numbers that your self-worth is attached to them will send off the wrong frequency and actually repel money. And being so far detached from your figures that you're unaware of how you are actually leaking energy from your life and business will also send off the wrong frequency and repel money. It's all a balancing act of creating this stable foundation where you push when things become low and you celebrate when things become high, but in the full knowledge that the foundations are there to support you no matter what. Next slide, please. The deepest and most powerful way to change your money story is to work on your higher self and work on your identity. If you think of your mind, you've got your logical brain and your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind is the computer. So the computer holds all of the programs that are run by your logical brain. So the computer has got all the memory banks, which is all of your beliefs, values, and behaviors. So as your logical mind comes something from reality, so something that's happening right now, it goes, okay, I've seen this before, goes into the subconscious mind and says, okay, this is how we deal with it. And this is the self-fulfilling prophecy. So therefore, in order to create change, the computer itself, that unconscious mind, needs reprogramming to create new programs for the logical conscious mind to run. The easiest way to do this, as I've said, is to work on your higher self, your identity, and using your intuition, which some people will call that connection to source or the connection to God if you're a religious person. Whatever it looks like for you, we all have this intuition inside ourselves, but not a lot of us actually listen to it. And we put it off as just a feeling that we've got. Working on who you are, what your identity is, automatically filters down into that logical mind and that subconscious mind. and therefore new programs begin to be run, and therefore your new story around money starts to change. And I think the last slide is just questions, but they'll be in the Q&A box and I can answer them at the end. I hope that's been okay.
Perfect. Thanks a lot, Leah. That was amazing. And actually, I did found myself in your story. I used to steal money from my parents as well. Having a friend with parents abroad, she had the best toys, the best clothes. So yeah, I was trying to fill in that gap. And as a result, I end up myself abroad. So yeah, amazing. Thanks a lot for sharing your story. And I'm sure you're not the only one experiencing that sort of story. So if you want to find out more about Leah, and yeah, please get in touch with her. The website link will be on our chat box. So now we are at the last part of our webinar. So is the panel discussion with our lovely bookkeeper partners, Suzannah and Elizabeth. So we will start off with the first question. So how has the cost of living crisis affected you and your clients? So we will start with you, Suzannah, first.
Yeah, well, I was reading something the other day along the lines of wages are rising at their highest rate for 20 years, but these increases are still being outstripped by inflation. And it's definitely something that I'm seeing both from my client's perspective and my own. And the kind of main areas where costs are increasing are things like energy costs, interest rates, materials, staff and wages costs, and that's something that I've specifically found has affected my clients in particular, attracting and retaining staff, especially in certain sectors. And then things like rent, fuel, and where I live as well in the southeast, we're going to be impacted further very soon by the expansion of the ULEZ. So yeah, there's loads of things that are causing issues for clients. Yeah.
Thanks, Suzannah, for sharing that. Do you find similar trends, Elizabeth, with you and your clients?
Yes, very much similar trends there. Yeah, a lot of my clients actually work in the building trade, and although so-called building trade is meant to be up and coming, it's actually very stagnant at the moment because they can't sell the houses because people can't afford the mortgages.
And the cost of materials as well went through the roof, so it's a difficult all way. Thanks for sharing that. In terms of helping those clients, what type of steps and measures have you taken with those clients that have been affected by the cost of living? So this time I will start with you, Elizabeth, if you can share, please.
One of the main steps I've actually taken with a lot of my clients is actually, it's not an advert, but yes, I've been introducing them to FreeAgent because there's a few of my clients who obviously use varying softwares. And although FreeAgent can be a little bit more expensive, I've actually suggested to them, look, change your bank. Your bank charges are up and up and up and up. Change your bank. If you go to either NatWest or Metal, you'll get your software free. I know it sounds a little bit like advertising, but it's actually been a huge help for about 6 or 7 of my clients. They've actually taken that step and gone into it. And other measures of people have come back to me and asked, what can I do? My wages aren't coming in, my money isn't coming in. And you have to look at your clients, the way that your clients are working and see if they can actually diversify. And again, a couple of my clients have actually done that. They've, instead of just sticking with one little got the word, sorry. They've actually taken the step and saying, yes, we're going to do this as well as that. And so the money starts flowing in a little bit better as well. But I think basically a lot of the clients are happy just to talk through the things with you, to actually not just email, but be on the other end of the phone for them when they have that little bit of a problem and say, what do you think? What do you think about my going forward? What if? And they're very, very happy to actually have your advice on that. Even as far as when money is so desperate, you actually advise them, look, have you gone down the universal credit route? And they kind of come back rather shocked, thinking, well, can I? I said, well, there's no harm, you know, try it. If you're so short of money, try it. You can't lose without trying something. Basically, that's more or less a lot of the advice that I've been giving to my clients to try and get them over this bridge.
That's amazing, Elizabeth. And obviously, from a software perspective, we are happy to hear that we can save money, we can make things easier. However, as you said, Elizabeth, the advice piece and being there for your clients, just to listen to them and give them some ideas, that's vital for you and your clients, I would say. What about you, Suzannah?
Yeah, I agree with Elizabeth. Sometimes being a bookkeeper, it gives you that kind of advantage of being a fresh pair of eyes and ears for clients to talk to and bounce ideas off of. And obviously, because we work with lots of other clients in different businesses and different sectors, you can take ideas and use them and help people in certain situations with that. So yeah, I'd echo as well what Elizabeth said about putting clients onto cloud software, particularly FreeAgent, which is great for those smaller clients, especially because, as she said, about using the advantage of having it free if you've got a Metal or a NatWest account, because then the more up to date they are with their bookkeeping, the better overview they have of what's going on in their business. I think debtors is a major one, keeping an eye on those. Sometimes clients aren't always aware of who owes them what, and sometimes they might have missed sending an invoice. And the great thing about FreeAgent as well is you can set automatic chaser reminders for people who haven't paid their invoices, stuff like that. You can use the bank feeds. So yeah, lots of things like that.
Thanks a lot, Suzannah. Thanks a lot for actually covering a bit of my demo as well. For the audience. Thanks a lot. That's amazing. On to the next one. Are there any tools that clients can use to help with this? Obviously, you've mentioned FreeAgent, and that's great. There are any other tools that you've advised your clients to use or your clients are using already?
So definitely the bank feeds and bank rules, also data capture software. So if you're using FreeAgent, the mobile app, or for other software, something like auto entry, just helps you to keep it up to date quickly without having to spend loads of time on it. And then that way you can answer the questions that clients need to know most of all, which is how much is in my bank account, who do I owe money to, am I going to be able to pay my suppliers on time, who owes me money, what do I owe HMRC, am I going to be able to make payroll? And having all that information to hand allows you to be proactive in decision making and react to potential issues before they become a problem. So, and cash flow forecasting, things like that, all really useful.
That's perfect. What about you, Elizabeth? Do you agree with Suzannah on that one? Do you have
I totally agree with Suzannah, totally, yes. Yeah. Because I use FreeAgent quite a lot and use a lot of the tools that are available on FreeAgent. Yeah, my clients actually appreciate that because I can pass that knowledge on to them. And as long as they have an in-depth knowledge of the software that they're using, I find that they're a lot more comfortable talking about various aspects of their money problems and such like. And I actually just very, very recently, I had one client and they were obviously in trouble with HMRC. And in order to try and get them over this problem, I said, why, let's approach HMRC direct and tell them you can't pay, and say, what are the alternatives? And he was so grateful for that, because he's now on a repayment plan with HMRC, and it's taken a whole load of aggro from his mindset, and he can concentrate more on his business now.
Exactly, the pressure is dissipated, I will say. So yeah, that's great. And in terms of tools, from chatting with our bookkeepers partners on a daily basis, I'm hearing stories around, I don't know, use WhatsApp to communicate with your clients, create WhatsApp groups so they will feel like they are part of community. Tools such as Instagram, TikTok for your clients, if they want to differentiate their business, expand a bit more, advertise using those tools, and so on. So yeah,
because advertising is often one of the first things that gets cut when people are struggling with money. But actually, if you can take advantage of the free advertising that you can do on social media and advertise through through a cost of living crisis, and be the one in your sector that is standing out, then that all helps. And I've thought of another thing, actually, payment links on invoices, making your invoices as quick and easy to pay as you can. So using something like Critchlow, or go cardless, or Stripe, because often with some customers, they'll get the invoice and they'll put it to one side and think, yeah, I'll pay that when I get home, I'll pay that later. But if they can do it at the click of a button, it really makes a difference.
Absolutely, I agree with you, and I will actually show the ones that are new to FreeAgent how you can do that via FreeAgent, where you can find those links that Suzannah was telling about. So on to the next. Obviously, you are a business owner at the end of the day. So how do you protect your business while supporting your clients? So I will start with you, Suzannah.
Okay, well, one of the things that I've done and have been doing really for a few years, as have a lot of bookkeepers, is moving away from hourly pricing onto fixed monthly pricing, and using standing orders and things like that to collect payments from clients, because as well as keeping that regular income coming in, and sort of no big sort of spikes around self-assessment, and troughs, other parts of the year, smoothing those prices for clients throughout the year really helps them with their cash flow as well. And often, I think a big bill divided by 12 monthly payments is a lot more palatable, shall we say, than sending a great big invoice once a year. So things like that, really. Trying to think what else. That's the main thing, I suppose. And then just giving value as much as you can, talking to clients so they know their position, and being proactive with them, all things like that. Because ultimately, if they're struggling with their finances, their finance function is going to become more valuable to them, and having that insight and overview is really, really important, which protects my business as well as theirs.
Absolutely. How about you, Elizabeth?
Yeah, I agree entirely. I'm also on just a monthly standing orders with all of my clients, actually, all of them. I started that actually just prior to COVID. Another habit I got into just prior to COVID was phoning them up once a month, just a 5-minute phone call. How are you doing? How's things? Anything I can do for you? And they seem to actually appreciate that. But that's, I've obviously put that into my costing, for my monthly costing. But it was amazing, the reaction I got from all of my clients, the fact that I would contact them on a regular basis to see how they were getting on.
Yeah, being there for them, it's very important nowadays. And I will add to that the tips that Sharon and Leah, they've shared with us. So those are ways to protect yourself as well. So yeah, in order to protect your business and support your clients.
Yeah.
In terms of winning new businesses, so if you're trying to win new business, at one point you stop offering free advice. We know that bookkeepers wants to be there for their clients, but when you say stop, like to offering that free advice. So I'll start with you, Elizabeth, on that one.
I actually, when I looked at this question, I thought, when do I actually stop giving free advice? I thought, I don't know. Because generally I try to, when people ask a question, I actually repeat the question back to them to see what their answer is, rather than give them the advice that perhaps I think they should be having. I let them think about what they should be doing rather than what I should be doing for them. And that way it makes them, I think, have a very much more wider view of that particular question. And I'm not actually giving any kind of technical advice or, you know, any type of, I'll only say that if you pay me type of advice, which actually I think they appreciate, because they get a lot of information without actually me telling them, yeah, that's the right thing to do.
That's great. What about you, Suzannah?
Yeah, it's a tricky one. And I think because we're bookkeepers and it's kind of inbuilt in us to be as helpful as we possibly can. And we're enthusiastic about what we do. And yeah, you do often find yourself giving free advice. I suppose if someone was being really pushy and, you know, asking for a lot of information up front and they weren't a client, you could I sometimes would send them a link to some guidance. I'll say, I'll send you something, email them a link to the page on gov.uk, and then say, you know, if you want to talk about it further, book in with me for a proper consultation meeting. So stuff like that. And then also, I would also say if it was kind of quite technical advice, I would say that my insurance doesn't cover that unless you're actually engaged as a client. That's things like that.
That's great, and I do agree with both of you. I think giving the clients, as you said, Suzannah, the link, like bite-sized info, so they will get a read through, and if they don't understand, they will book a proper consultation with you, where that free advice will stop. And also with you, Elizabeth, actually that's a good technique to repeat the question to your clients, because sometimes the clients have the answers themselves. It's actually happening to me probably on a daily basis. I always want to double check with someone, so I always ask my manager on some more complicated scenarios, what's the answer to that? So I kind of know the answer, but I want to double check. So asking the question to your clients and them knowing the answer will make them feel much more in control and actually, hang on a second, I know that. And yeah, but it's also good to have someone there to ask when needed. So the last question. So obviously I don't really like the word crisis, I must admit, but yeah, we experience one nowadays, so we can't avoid that. So the question is, in every crisis, there is a success story. So what's yours? What have you heard from your clients? So I will start with you, Suzannah, on that one.
Okay. When I thought about this question, the one that stood out to me it is a COVID kind of answer. So not cost of living as in now, but a couple of years ago in COVID.
Yep.
When we were in the really strict lockdown, one of my clients is a marketing and PR agency, and they do events and things like that, and they specialize in retail parks and shopping malls. So those were closed. So basically their whole income dropped by about 90% literally overnight. But they really pivoted. They did things like they set up social media campaigns for lots of local restaurants who were offering takeout, you know, where those businesses were also pivoting and changing what they did. They did quite a lot of stuff for the local council as well, saying what things were open and signposting the public and communities for different services and help. And they ended up actually picking up loads of new business and sort of diversifying, and they've bounced back you know, much stronger than ever, because as soon as everything opened up, all their original clients needed their services more than ever. And yeah, so they've gone from strength to strength. So that's one. Another one I thought of is a client recently. We were looking at, I was looking at what they do, and one of the services they offer is like a maintenance contract for customers who've bought equipment or had equipment installed by them. And when I looked at it, they hadn't put up the prices on their maintenance contracts in some cases for about 10 years, which was ridiculous. I mean, obviously they were putting up the prices for the actual jobs themselves, but not for the maintenance contracts. So I said to them, we need to look at this. We went through it all, and we ended up putting the contracts all up, and we're going to do that every year going forward as well. But just by doing that, they've made an extra £10,000 to £15,000 a year just like that for no extra work. So it's things like that that you need to look at as well with your clients. And again, it's having that fresh pair of eyes, coming into a business, getting under its skin and seeing things that people who have been in that business for years don't necessarily think of because they're just plodding along.
That's amazing. And I completely agree with you. And obviously COVID was really bad, but I've spoke with a lot of people, and a lot of people were made to think outside the box and differentiate their business, and yeah, to try to keep along. So that's amazing. How about you, Elizabeth?
Yes, I've also, there was a couple of clients who actually bounced back. One similar to Suzanne, he was contracted to do shows and things. He was actually qualified as carpenter, and over COVID, it just stopped. Obviously, he wasn't allowed to travel or do any kind of show. And but over COVID, the building trade was still going on. So I told him, you know, why don't you put yourself as a subcontractor for the carpentry bits? And so he did that. And has actually gone from strength to strength since. You know, he's really taken it forward, you know, really, really well. And he's even diversified into rental as well. He's buying up old houses and flatlets and things and doing them up himself. And so that was one big success story. Another client, he definitely, I will use the word crisis. He was a restaurant owner, and over COVID, his business just went downhill, full stop, and it would not recover afterwards. But taking the building side, he actually owned the building, and it's on the seafront, prime position. I said, why don't you see if you can get a loan? See if you can actually revamp it into flats that you can actually either rent out or sell. And yeah, he's gone from strength to strength since as well. Yes.
That's amazing. So yeah, as I said, that actually shows the proof is in the pudding. So there is success coming out of a crisis, and nothing is impossible if you have the right people there to help you. So thank you very much. Now it's time for another poll. So Georgia, if you can quickly run, because I'm conscious of time. It's already 3 minutes past 12. That's amazing. So thanks a lot to my lovely panelists. Sharon, Leah, Suzannah, Elizabeth, was amazing to have you here today with myself and our attendees. I'm sure that we've all learned a lot from our great panelists. And if you want to get in touch with either of them, please feel free to do so. I'm sure Suzannah and Elizabeth also, they will be happy to give their advice. If you are a new bookkeeper and you feel lonely and you need someone to talk to, please reach out to them and to the rest of your community. So if you can Perfect. So as I said, it's already past 12. So for those of you who are already existing partners, before you go, please register for the next webinars during the week. They will be all amazing. And for our panelists, you are free to leave the webinar and yeah, enjoy the rest of the day. And thank you very much for being part of this. What I will do next, as I said, I will do a demo for those of you that are new to FreeAgent, just to show you a glimpse of what FreeAgent is. So I will, what I will do, I will stop sharing. And I will start sharing the actual demo. Just bear with me 1 second. Okay. Can everyone see my screen? Julie, I can see that you've raised your hand. Thank you all. Perfect. So what I will do, I will quickly show you a demo. So that's the practice dashboard. So if you become a FreeAgent partner, you will have a practice dashboard. So under the clients is the place where you will see your clients, the ones that are using obviously FreeAgent. Here we have a very like a micro CRM system. So you can, we call them alerts. So you can add alerts rules. So on the VAT, on the unexplained bank transactions, another useful one is the open banking consent, expire within a number of days. As we all know, every 90 days, your clients will need to reconsent their bank feeds. However, that can be done via FreeAgent, so you can do it on behalf of your clients. And if you have these alerts set up, you will be notified with those clients that are due to have the bank feed reconsented. In terms of the practice portal as well, we also advise our partners to make the most of our partner resources. And we do have as well a learning and accreditation. So it's self-learning. You can pass our accreditation modules, and we do also offer training as well. Which it's again free for our partners, and it's is delivered by our amazing implementation team. So in terms of FreeAgent itself, I just quickly want to show you what your client will see. So I will switch onto a client account, and keeping with the theme of cost of living, that's the overview that the client will see. So here is the cash flow. That's the cash flow at the present time. So what I will, and you can actually filter the last 12 months, 6 months, or 3 months. And what I want to show you is the cash flow forecast. So under the banking, you click on the cash flow, and that's the forecast. So the forecast is for the next 90 days, as you can see here. And how the forecast is calculated is actually FreeAgent is looking at the incoming and outgoings. Yeah. So in terms of invoices, if you see that that's overdue and it wasn't paid, so maybe you had a chat with that client, and you can change the expected date. So by changing the expected date, that will change as well the cash flow forecast. So the forecast will be more accurate. So that's due in about a month. So yeah, you can either hide it or change it. What I want also to show you, speaking about the cost of living, under work, we have our invoicing functionality. So your client will be able to invoice from FreeAgent. So to add a new invoice, they will just click add new, everything. So in order to create something within FreeAgent itself, it's always right-hand side, a green button. So you can create a new invoice, and we've got, if you tick those 3 boxes, FreeAgent will chase the invoices for you. So it will save you a bit of time on that side, and we will make sure that you are getting paid on time as well. So we will automate that reminders and everything. In terms of Suzannah was mentioning earlier about the online payment options, that those links attached within the invoice itself, that will make payment a breeze, so your clients will get paid faster. So we do integrate with Stripe, PayPal, and Go Cardless. So the links are already attached within the invoice itself. So that's an easy one as well. In terms of having clients on FreeAgent, so once you will add a client on FreeAgent, the first thing that you will do, you will send them an invite, and you will ask them to connect the bank feeds. So once you will set up a new client, here, obviously, here I do have the bank feed. So you will see a button, enable the bank feed, so the client can connect the bank within the software, so the transactions will be pulled automatically on a daily basis for you to reconcile. What I want to quickly show you as well, what will make life a bit more easier. So if we go here more, we do have guest rules. So basically, those guest rules, if they are turned on, will help you with the bookkeeping. So FreeAgent, just to give an example, if similar transactions are coming in from the bank into the software, like, I don't know, Costa Coffee, and they've been one explained as accommodation and meals, so that will mean that FreeAgent will look at that one and it will explain it pretty similar, like the same accommodation and meals. So that will help you with the bookkeeping, and it will save you a bit more time to offer that valuable advice to your clients. Obviously, we have the excluded terms as well, so you can exclude a term like Amazon or personal or loans or whatever you want to not be automatically explained. You can add on the excluded terms. And I will quickly return to the dashboard, and I will want to quickly show you the other new clients. So if you will have a client that, let's say, they are on spreadsheets, they are terrified of the idea of using accounting software, you can, as Suzannah and Elizabeth, they both share great stories from their clients using FreeAgent via NatWest or Metal. So Metal, it's a bank account free of charge. It's backed by NatWest. And if the clients will have an active Metal business bank account, they will be eligible to get FreeAgent free of charge as well. So let's say you have a client, they've applied for Metal, so you just need to put their business name, client type. We do support limited companies, partnerships, sole traders, and unincorporated landlords as well. So you can pick the client type, and here is where the magic happens. So you just, let's say, Metal, and all you need from your client is their account number and the sort code. So once you will put that, you will validate their free license. So you will not get charged for that client, neither them. So you can manage a lot of clients via FreeAgent, free of charge. And here, obviously, it will be the client's name, and here is the permission level. So the control is in your hand. By default, comes at level 7, so the clients can't file. However, you can change it how you see fit. We do advise at least level 6 because you want them to connect those bank feeds, so you don't chase them for bank statements every month. So that's pretty much it. In terms of demo, let me quickly go back to the slides. So Stuart and Cinnamon, there are any questions?
Hey, Alina.
Hey, Cinnamon.
Hi. Yeah, we do have a few questions.
Yes.
And one would be whether is there a limit to how many free licenses that can be added to FreeAgent?
Okay, so as I said, thank you, Cinnamon. As I said, you can manage as many clients as you wish via FreeAgent, free of charge, via Metal, NatWest, Royal Bank of Scotland, or Ulster Bank in Northern Ireland. There is no limit. Actually, we do have a client. They have around 400 clients on their dashboard, and how much they are paying us? 0. So yeah, it's possible, and there is no limit as such. So yes, thanks, Cinnamon. Any others?
Yeah, just a few other questions. Another one was that is there a cash flow functionality? Is there a cash flow functionality within FreeAgent?
Yes, so as I've showed during the demo, there is a cash flow functionality within FreeAgent, and as you could see, there is also the actual one and the forecasted for the next 90 days.
Okay, great. And just 2 last questions on here as well. How easy is it to get paid by clients while using FreeAgent?
It's actually very easy, as Suzannah said, as Elizabeth said, and as I've shown you as well via the demo. It's very easy because you do have the links for GoCardless, Stripe, and PayPal there. Okay,
Great. And just the last question as well, is FreeAgent MTD compliant?
FreeAgent, it is MTD compliant indeed, so you will be able to connect your service agent and file the VAT on behalf of your clients, and you can file directly to HMRC via FreeAgent, so you don't need to leave the software. Thank you. Any others? No, that's all. Perfect. So yeah, Georgia, please run the last poll. So if you want to find out a bit more about FreeAgent, you like a one-to-one consultation, please fill the yes box, and we will be more than happy to help. Okay. We'll give a bit. Yeah, perfect. So thank you very much for running the poll, Georgia. And yeah, that's pretty much everything for today. So thank you all. We still have 42 participants, which is amazing. So thank you all for attending today's webinar. I'm sure that you found it as informative and exciting as I did. And as I said, please register for the following ones. The whole week is full of fruity info. So yeah, please join us and have a lovely afternoon. There is not such thing as like it's difficult to end the webinar. So thank you all, and I will just stop the webinar. Thank you. Bye bye.